Salute, part 2, my Godfather story. Welcome to Sunday movie telling. I'll tell you a little bit about, watch my video about meeting little Nicky Scarfo. For you young people, Nicky Scarfo, he ran Atlantic City in South Philly. He had Gotti in New York, so on and so forth. But in the 80s, little Nicky Scarfo ran it. So I told you a little bit about part 1 last week, and just at the ending where me and my buddy I grew up with, my best man, ran into him in a casino in Trump Plaza, who actually Donald Trump done business with little Nicky Scarfo. True story. So who's little Nicky Scarfo? So he started off in South Philadelphia to run the mob, and they kind of chase him out of there. And he wanted a new territory. So little Nicky Scarfo landed in Atlantic City. Before that, though, he had some racketeer charges that went down, and he served a little time. He came out, and there was union. Back then, a lot of do with union in Atlantic City. What's this all got to do with Uncle Sal? Good Coppola wine. So back in 1989, my father passed away in 81. It's okay, he's been gone for a while. My mom was a beautiful woman, and she was dating. And so one day I came home. I moved back home for a little bit. It went for me. In New Jersey, in South Jersey, about 40 minutes west from Atlantic City, they call it the boondocks, a lot of woods, long driveways. And stay tuned, this gets really good. The boys out in the street said, "Hey, Salvador." I said, "Yeah." "Look at the Cadillac in your driveway." I said, "Yeah." Now we lived in a little bit, and you're gonna see it in a couple seconds, this little home that my father had built. And it was in the woods, and here's this big Cadillac taking up most of the driveway. So go in. Now I'm a young kid, about 20 years old. I told you, you watched my other video, I ran into this guy, so I kind of remember what he looked like. He invited me to his room. So now I go in the house, and I have always taught to respect an Italian, back in my generation. So he's sitting there in my dad's lounge chair. So I shake his hand. Now, at that point, I wasn't exactly sure. The boys were telling me who they thought it was. He says, "How you doing?" I said, "How you doing?" My mom says, "Go in the other room." I said, "Who am I meeting here?" He goes, "I'm little Nicky Scarfo." I said, "Yeah, I met you before." He goes, "Oh yeah? Where?" I said, "You probably remember, but 2 years prior, or a year prior, me and my buddy, you let us go. You let us into your room when we were underage gambling, underage drinking, and you wanted us to do something, but we didn't go, and you let us go. So I wanted to thank you again for those drinks." And then he made like he act like he knew who I was, but I don't think he remembered. He was drinking. This guy. So I go in the other room. No cell phones. I get on my phone and I call my neighbor who was in the casino with me, Steve. I said, "Look who's at my house." He goes, "Yeah, that's why I was here. Little Nicky Scarfo." So we'll get back to that story, what happened in the room when I come out. But so, look him up. Yeah, he murdered a lot of people. He ran a union. Donald Trump got in some financial problems before his bankrupt. True story. Had to borrow money off of the Italian mob, the mafia. But he had gambling. He used to like gambling, so a lot of his money went back into the joints. But he was percentage with a lot of these casinos back then, just like you had the Chicago mob where I'm at right now in Vegas. And remember, there's no Vegas without the mob. So that's a true story. So he lived in Atlantic City. So how my mom met him. So he lived in Atlantic City, and it wasn't a big house. He lived like right near a little Italian bakery there. I forget which street, Ocean Drive, for conversation purpose. I think I might be right. Like I said, my mom was a beautiful lady. Apparently my mom, back then they had lounges, and she met him in a lounge, and he bought her a drink, so on and so forth, and landed in my house. So when I come out of the room, He says, Salvatore, my mom was making him a drink and some meat, some lasagna. My mom could cook a good lasagna, and he goes, I wanted to talk to you. He goes, I'm with your mom now. I said, you're with my mom? He goes, yeah, I'm with your mom. I said, well, who makes you with my mom? How are you with my mom? So, he wanted to act like a badass, but at the same time, I think he liked it, Me and your mom were dating. You see, my old man just passed away about a year or two. My mom ain't dating, and she ain't dating anybody like you. I love my dad so much, so it was hard to let it go. Not that he was a bad guy. Well, he was. He was a good guy, too. One of those, I still want my mom. But my mom comes out, and she can see that our voices went up a little bit. And he had a cigar in his mouth. Of course, I was too young. I hadn't smoked cigars, not that I was too young. So he was drinking his scotch. He asked me if I wanted one. I said, no. But Mom, I'll take a wine. That's why I have a wine today. Long story short, he wanted me to run some sports. Now, sports betting back then, not until like last year, it wasn't even illegal in New Jersey. It was just Vegas, some riverboats. But now it's legal, so got to keep that in mind. I want you to run some sports tickets. Now, sports tickets, on the top of the ticket, true story, Scott's honor, said amusement only. So it was only parlays. You couldn't do straight up bets. It was 2 teams, 3 teams. I mean, he was the big guy. Now, my grandfather was already doing this. My mom's side. He was already running the sports ticket at the North Italy Club. Now, he wants me to run his tickets, and I said, Mr. Scarfo, I appreciate this, but, I'm already involved in some stuff. I go, oh, you are? So now I let the cat out of the hat, My mom didn't tell him that. So he goes, well, you're with me now. You're going to do my tickets. And what's your pop giving you? I said, well, my grandfather. He said, what's he giving you? So he's getting me a cut. He's getting me a free ticket. I get 10%. I'm going to give you 15%. I said 20%. True story. So I did it. It was 17%. So I did those tickets, but I was Cavados. In Italian, Cavados means I didn't listen too good. And even to this day, none of it's perfect. Sometimes it takes me 2-3 times, but he told me, and my grandfather told us, you keep the fazuls, the bread, in your glove box, or better yet, in the trunk, and you keep the tickets separate. Never keep them together. Now, I had a Chevy Nova 72 Super Sport. It was my father's, and I put my foot on the pedal. So one day I'm on Atlantic City Expressway and I get pulled over. You guys know what's happening. Pull me over. Now, I even had we had some cops involved in these tickets. It was just tickets. We couldn't keep it together. I was Cavados, so I had to go. I got arrested for it. I know, think about it, arrested for selling tickets, amusement only. But that, again, it was illegal. About 2 hours later, somebody's bailing me out. I thought it was not my grandfather, because I told him I wasn't. There was little Nicky Scarfo bailing me out. I said, that's okay. I'll sit. And I sat. And I sat. It was a day later, and then my mom and my grandfather got me out. So I didn't take his offer. True story. Ran those tickets. Went back and ran them again. Now it was Cavados again. I figure I outsmart everybody being a gambler. So I'll keep some of these tickets. I'm looking at the 5-team parlay for $20. Now $20 in the 80s can go a little bit of a ways, especially when you can hit. If you can hit about $1,000, $1,000 is not like it is now in 2021, right? So I kept one of those tickets. Honest to God, who would have thought? 5-team parlay. A guy hit. I had to pay out of my pocket. My mom's still dating Nicky Scarfo. Goes, I got it for you. Do me a favor. I got it. Took me a little while to pay that money, but I did. That's a true story. Unbelievable. But later on, my mom and him departed, and I might have ran into him one other occasion, not into him, and through a guy named Joe Nacera, and I had permission to repeat this on here. And Joe Nacera, I met him when I was selling change and dealt blackjack and stuff, and Joe got involved a little bit on the tail end of it. So But anyhow, little Nicky Scarfo. So hopefully you enjoyed this story. I'm not going to go into all the other details. He's passed away 2017. Again, he ran kind of the union and some other things in Atlantic City. Now it's all over with in Atlantic City. I mean, you got some this, that, whatever, but none of the gaming part, not that I know of. In Vegas, they still have some strip club ties and some other stuff, but now it's all different. Now it's hackers and these freaking hackers and these geeks on the other side trying to get into your banks and stuff. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm Sal CAPANO. I hope that you enjoyed this story, a true story on little Nicky Scarfo and my encounter and little sports and stuff like that. Remember, say hello to somebody. Tomorrow's another day. I will see you on my next video. Don't forget, if you like this, the subscribe button. Like I said, every Sunday I'm going to tell a story. Each story about me, my year. So anyhow, God bless everybody. May salute. If you smoke cigars out there, enjoy yourself. Life is short. Next time.